Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's tool review is going to be a GearWrench tool. These are their auto bite pliers from their PitBull series of pliers. I picked these up because they're kind of an auto adjusting plier, very similar to my Knipex SmartGrips, which were in my top 10 of 2023 tools. I really like these. I like the way how I can just basically adjust to whatever it is I'm going on to. I don't have to do any fiddling around or anything like that. They work really great, and I really like these. And Stefan Kovalik, he was the one that mentioned these to me originally, talked about how much they loved them or how much he loved them, and then he's also just really likes these. So that's the one who taught me into getting these and trying them out, and I'm glad that he did. Well, he also sent me an email and asked me if I've seen these yet, and I decided I'd go ahead and pick up some of these because if I'm, as you remember, I mentioned in my video, I do use 10-inch pliers occasionally, but the Knipex Cobras open so wide that the 180s tend to be my go-to pair of pliers, and I really wish they would make some smart grips and these sizes right here. Hopefully that's still going to come in the future. But GearWrench here offers, in these pliers, I did pick up a 6-inch, and they've got 4 different sizes. They got a 6, 8, 10, and a 12. I picked up the 6 and the 10. The 6-inch is going to run you $13.50, somewhere in that range. 8-inch, $15.75. The 10-inch is going to be right around $19, $18.75, and then the 12-inch is going to be $21.30. Just depends on when you get on there. So if you tally it all up, it's going to be a little bit less, or right around $70 to buy all 4 sizes of those. When you compare that to the Knipex Cobra, the Smart Grip, this one is the 8501 250. This is going to cost you about 65 bucks just for this one pair. So when you think about, I can get 4 pairs of 4 different sizes for the same price, or maybe even a little bit cheaper, just depends on how it's running at the time, then that one pair, then you got to start thinking to yourself, well, is it worth it to go to this? Or should I just go ahead and get these, even though they might not be as good, or are they as good? But that's the goal behind this video, is I'm going to show you the features of this one, maybe show you how it's a little bit different than the Knipex, and then you can decide for yourself. I think it's a good fit if you're like me and you use small pliers, that you could get these until maybe Knipex comes out with some smart grips in the smaller sizes. It's kind of a stopgap for you to be able to use these in the meantime. But I'm going to share them with you, share the features with you, show you how they kind of work, and then again, you get to make the decision if it's the right tool for you. But let's go ahead and get into this. So starting out, let me just show you the packaging, and the packaging is basically the same on the 10-inch and the 6-inch, with the exception of that jaw size. The 6-inch is 1 3/16 capacity, or 30 millimeter, and the 10-inch is 2 1/8 or 54 millimeter. But it gives you that, it says it claims for a one-handed operation, has a push knob, which isn't really a push knob, it's more of a lever. I'll show you that, which causes you to engage the lever. Squeeze to auto adjust, claims to have 2 times more gripping power. Slim jaws for 40% greater access. Grip zone handles, that is a little different than the Knipex. And then self-locking jaws, and a knob engages or disengages. Those 2 features right there are basically the biggest differences between it and the Smart Grip. It does claim to have that slim jaw. Personally, I feel like the jaws on the Knipex might even be a little bit slimmer than that of the GearWrench, in my opinion. So, but are they slimmer jawed maybe than some of the other brands out there? That's a pretty good possibility, because Knipex is already pretty slim to start with. So on the 6-inch here, I'll show you how these kind of work. So you have this lever. I can basically always just move it back and forth like that. There's no knob or anything, even though it said knob there. The knob they're talking about is this here on the back side. I can engage and disengage this auto bite, or I think it's called bite on, maybe is what that says right there. I can turn this on and off, but if I have it off, I can just sit there and move freely if I've got the handle spread, and I can move it up to something, and then once I grip on something, it will still tighten up, but it will not come back down. So I could technically just use it just like this, bring a pair of pliers over to something, squeeze up on it like so, and then once I get to whatever size I want, once I clamp down on it, it's not going to release and open back up on me. It would still go tighter, but it's not going to go smaller. And then, but the thing with that is I have to do that two-handed. I have to be able to take this hand and move this one up and then kind of clamp on it, which is sometimes what I basically do with my Knipex Cobras if I can't reach that thumb setting there. But with that auto bite on, what it does is if I'm at my lowest point, as I squeeze, that causes that to go ahead and scoot on up without me having to do it by hand. So now I can go to here, and once I get to it, that's still engaged. It's causing it to stop, and then I can go on over to the next size. It might engage a little bit more. I don't think so, because it's basically, I'm not a lot different here. And then I can go to the next size and it might engage a little bit more. If I was going from really big to small, it would still move. But the one downside to the GearWrench that I have noticed is, so once I went small, I can't go big one-handed without coming back over and basically pressing this up and getting to the most open position. So every time I'm going to change sizes, I've got to squeeze it here, get it on, it's going to engage. And now if I want to go to, say that's really small, but I want to go over here to something big, and I do that, but my handles are really close together or really far apart, I have to come back, open it all the way back up, and then engage back into it for a bigger size. And the big difference between that and the SmartGrip is, the SmartGrip is 100% one-handed. It opens up all the way. Every single time that I open it, closes all the way. So I can go from small and it closes up, come on over here to big, closes up, go to the middle, closes up, move over and go to some pipe, whatever I did with my little piece of pipe, come over here, grab out of the pipe. It's auto adjusting 100% with one hand. Even though GearWrench claims to be one-handed operation, it is, as long as you start out in this position. It's one hand from that point, but sometimes it might take you the two hands to get back to this, because I don't know how you're going to do that with one hand, get that to go up by yourself. So unless you maybe can grab it up here with your thumb and scoot it, but I can't do that either. So one hand auto adjusting as far as once you've opened it, one hand, but I wouldn't call it one-handed the same way that the Knipex SmartGrip is one-handed. Now, a couple other differences between the Knipex and the GearWrench. As I mentioned on the packaging, it says that it has grip zone handles. You can see here it's got plastic coated kind of grip on there. It's got them on both sizes. I do see that as being something nice. Maybe you're putting on a shower head and you don't want to mar it up with the teeth. You could easily go around and grip it with that and use that as basically the, dipped covers that they sell for Knipex that you put on your pliers. But in a pinch, you could probably take off the aerators on your faucets, or, like I said, a shower head or whatever it is you're working on. It gives you something that's kind of that non-marring grip zone to be able to use these in that way without having to carry something else with you. I do like that. Wouldn't bother me a bit if Knipex added those onto their pliers. And the other difference to me is the engaging and disengaging of this right here. Like I said, that kind of makes it nice in the fact that you can do the auto adjust with two hands, like maybe sometimes some people might do with the Cobra. If I'm working on something, sometimes I'll go up against a bolt like that, come over here, slide that up to the spot, let go of my button, and then now I know I'm at that right position. You can do basically the same exact thing with this, and the fact that you can move this in and out of the way, because sometimes with the Knipex SmartGrip, that's kind of been my only thing I haven't really cared about it too awful much. Let me see if I can find something big real fast. So if I take something like this 1.5 inch PVC pipe and I use my SmartGrips, again, there's no adjustment on them because they auto adjust themselves. That makes them super nice. But if I come in here and grip a hold of that and get it to where it squeezes, you can see how far away my hand is right here. That's a decent amount of spread right there. Versus on the Knipex Cobras, I could take a regular pair, and to get to that same hand placement, it may put me kind of in that general location as far as my adjustment, and then that keeps me spread out. That's got my hand spread out even more, or about the same maybe as what I have with the SmartGrip. But I can also adjust these down a little bit farther to where I can still come in and get a grip on the pipe, but get my hand closer together. That's much more comfortable. It's going to allow me to be able to get more squeeze, allow me to make sure I stay onto that pipe. Whereas the GearWrench, same thing. I can turn on this auto adjust, auto bite, slide that down all the way, let that adjust up to the pipe. My hands are spread quite a bit, but this one gives you that option to remove this, push this down all the way, and then I can squeeze up to it and then clamp down. You can see my hands a whole lot closer together than what it was with that auto adjust on. So that is a super nice feature that they have on here, that you can take it and engage it and disengage it. That's something you can't do with the SmartGrips. Is it nice? Yes, but is it 100% necessary? Again, it's been few and far between where I've ran into things where I would have really liked to adjusted this to a different size, but that is the one downside to me of the Knipex SmartGrips. I believe I even said that in my review for them that the one thing I didn't like was every now and then my hands were spread out a little bit more than maybe I would want them to be. But again, it's a feature that they kind of took care of on this one. But I still believe that the SmartGrip mechanism is probably a lot stronger, because that's the thing I'm a little bit leery of on the GearWrench is this auto bite lever. It works good, engages good. Haven't had any issues in the last little bit. Again, I just got these. I've only used them really for a day as far as to kind of put them into practice and see what I thought about them. But this little lever here lines up really good. It's right on right there, lined up exactly with the handle, but it does also easily get pushed. Like I can push it over maybe more than half way off of where it kind of hits right there. So I'm a little curious over time what's going to happen with this, because it does have quite a bit of kind of slop to it. I can move it around quite a bit. We'll have to see how that works out over time. I think it's a little bit more pronounced on the 10-inch than the 6-inch here. I don't feel it near as much. Of course, it's a lot longer on that one, and I don't know that I will probably use these that much because I have the 10-inch SmartGrips, but I definitely think that the small ones are a good kind of spot to start with until maybe Knipex comes out with theirs. So yeah, guys, that's the GearWrench Auto Bite. It's part of their PitBull series. I bought the 6 and the 10. I may end up going back and getting that 8-inch as well. I don't think I'd buy the 12 because it's just not something I'm going to use. But I still look forward to maybe Knipex one day coming out with the smaller SmartGrips, but who knows when they might come out. So this is kind of my stopgap in between there. But maybe you guys know some other auto adjusting pliers, and you can drop that down in the comment below, and then also tell us if it's more towards the same kind of functionality as the GearWrench or more towards the SmartGrip, or is it something completely different? Drop that down in the comments below. Or also maybe you've got these pliers yourself and you've had them longer than me. Let us know if you've had any issues with this getting out of whack, this little lever or anything like that. Drop that down there to help everybody make the best decision possible before they go and make a purchase. That's what I hope to happen with every single video, whether it's by you watching whatever I show or by you reading the comments below, that it helps you make the decision if these are the right tool for you. But hope the video was useful. Let me know. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day. See you on the next video.